You're about to listen to the Timey-Wimey Tea Time Podcast, a geekyantics.net and allgames.com production. Find out what everyone's talking about. The Doctor, of course. Doctor Who? Exactly, that Doctor. Join us live at www.twitch.tv/geekyantics. That's GeekyAntics. Hang out with us, ask questions, laugh, and have at it. We can't wait to hear what's on your minds and hearts.
Timey-Wimey Tea Time.
Greetings and welcome to Timey-Wimey Tea Time, hashtag TWTT. We're friends gathered to talk about all things Doctor Who, sci-fi, fantasy, zombies, creative writing, and assorted flavors of geekdom, you know, which may or may not include a little anime and other shenanigans every now and then. Lately we've been talking a lot about philosophy, so, you know, I hope you guys are ready. If this is the first time you're joining us, we're going to go deep. Not pretentious deep, we're going to go fun deep, a good kind of deep. There's lots of things we love, and we want to share those passions, that love with you guys. But, so yeah, introductions. Let's jump right into it. I am Yomar Lopez, the artist formerly known as Yogizilla. I'm still Yogizilla, but, you know, on the show we're about authenticity and transparency. We want to build a closer connection with not just the Whovian community, but just geeks at large. And, by the way, I am joined once again, as always, by Stan, the man Faryna. But I'm not going to leave there. No. He's the poetic voice of Gallifrey. The voice that is appreciated by both man and woman alike. He's got quite a few fans. That voice, man, it does it for us. So what's up, Stan?
Doing great. How about you? Are you ready for this?
After that...
plunge into darkness?
I don't think you're excited enough, Stan.
I'm very excited.
Wait, you're telling me you didn't hear that music just now?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear any music.
Oh, now he tells me. Interesting. We might be having our first technical issues. I hope you guys heard the music on the stream and on Twitch and on allgames.com. By the way, we are live right now. It is a Saturday, September 20th, 2014. We started officially around 12:09. We had a little pre-show before then while we got everybody warmed up the crowd and whatnot. We're live on allgames.com, the All Games Radio Network. Thank you for featuring our show, and hopefully we get some official love on there, you know, get the schedule updated and get some real hype going. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Come on, Derek, I'm looking at you. We are also on twitch.tv/geekyantics. If that's too much to remember, the main hub you'll go to is just geekyantics.net, and we'll let you know, we'll point you in the right direction on how to watch us live and join us in the chat. So yeah. And by the way, the time conversion, we should probably get into that. We had quite the extensive discussion about time conversions and how it confuses everybody around the world. So Saturdays at noon, every Saturday at noon Eastern, that's 9 a.m. Pacific here in the States, 5 p.m. in London, and 8 p.m. in where, Stan? And I lost him. Somewhere in the world, it'll be 8 p.m.
7 in Bucharest.
Oh, 7.
Yeah.
Super delayed reaction. Thanks, bro. No So you ready to jump into some comments off of YouTube real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, it probably won't be very quick. But okay, so they heard the music. I don't know why you didn't hear it. Listen, I think you got some bad juju going on in your setup, Stan. Do I sound good to you? Do I sound
Sound
good?
great.
Does that sound great? Does that sound wonderful?
Like a Sexy Latin lover.
Am I putting candy in your ear?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I do have the fan on. I try to point it away, but it's just way too hot. I can't wait for the cooler weather. That is my most productive time. This hot weather, it's like, I feel like the Energizer Bunny, you know, and I'm like, pew, pew, pew. So where's that? Yeah, no more drumming for me. Anyway, let's start off. Yeah, no more drumming. No more drumming. So the first comment for today. David Pooh quotes Clara's speech to the young doctor. And stay tuned. If you don't know what Doctor Who is, we're going to break it down. And like I said earlier, we don't just talk about Doctor Who. Our scope is much wider than that. We get into quite a bit of different stuff. But Doctor Who is a big part of it. But anyway. So Clara's speech to the young doctor. And he says, fear is a superpower. Fear can make you faster and cleverer and stronger. And one day you're gonna come back to this barn, and on that day you're going to be very afraid indeed. But that's okay, because if you're very wise and very strong, fear doesn't have to make you cruel or cowardly. Fear can make you kind. It doesn't matter if there's nothing under the bed or in the dark, so long as you know it's okay to be afraid of it. So listen. If you listen to anything else, listen to this. You're always gonna be afraid, even if you learn to hide it. Fear is like a companion, a constant companion, always there. But that's okay, because fear can bring us together. Fear can bring you home. I like that a lot. And I have to say, Clara really has grown on to me. I've become quite smitten by her.
In one episode.
No, it's been a work. I mean, all right. If you guys haven't, she turned it around. I liked her in the previous season. It's just the way they started off this season made me dislike her a bit. Like they tried to force a change on her. She felt a lot of things she did were you know, out of character. We talked about this in our previous episodes. She felt like, you know, she was trying to be something. They were writing her to be something she wasn't. But now it just feels like a lot more believable, and I'm getting lost in her character. I like it. But I love this whole thing.
He's the 12th Doctor.
What's that? You're saying she's really the 12th Doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not get into the speculation just yet, because, you know, that's a slippery slope, bro. But, so yeah, this is gonna be a theme we're gonna talk about quite a bit today. Fear. What are your thoughts on that quote?
Fear is OP, dude.
I was waiting for something really profound, but that works too.
I'm saving the profound.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. But, all right, why don't you read the next comment for us?
Okay. Happy Trip quotes the doctor. What's that in the mirror or the corner of your eye? What's that footstep following but never passing by? That was a cool lullaby.
That's it?
Well, I think there was more, but she didn't quote it.
I keep waiting for you to say something more about it. Well, yeah, I like it. I like it. It, you know, it reminds you that lullabies and fairy tales and fables and such, they always had a bit of darkness to them in the old days. It's kind of, it tells you.
Bridges falling down.
Yeah, dude.
It's about the plague.
Yep. Yeah. And you know, we see like Aesop's tales and Brothers Grimm stuff in the very PC versions. You know, like the Disney versions that are all happy-go-lucky and nothing really bad happens and everybody, you know, everything ends happily ever after, right? But the old storytelling used to be pretty morbid and grim and just, oof, it went there. There's something to be said about that. Maybe we've gotten too sensitive as a society. I don't know.
Wussification.
Yeah.
We're all wusses now.
Not very manly, as one of our callers last week said, which I like, by the way. Harley Quinn. I think she actually called us again, so we'll have a treat for you guys later. Awesome. We found out her true identity.
Wow.
But what is in the mirror? Yeah, Harley Quinn.
You know who Harley Quinn is, don't you?
Yeah. Oh. The one character everybody needs to know from the Batman universe.
Yeah.
Like, if you
The
don't know
female.
any of the... What's that?
The one female character everybody has to know.
Yes, yes. Well, let's assume you're going to know.
There's Catwoman.
Yeah. I was a big
She's
fan.
sexy.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Catwoman in the Adam West days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about what they've done since the reboot, but that's for another discussion.
All right, next comment, dude. Go for it.
Well, I thought you would tell us maybe what could be in the mirror. You have any speculation there? Any theories?
Back in the pass.
Aw, boo. Well, I tried. People.
I'm keeping you on your toes, man.
All right. So Dylan Tano, I believe is how you say it. He writes, "Me gustan las." Oh, no, it's Spanish, by the way. Heads up, folks. This is Spanish. I'm not speaking gibberish. Me gustan las nuevas introducciones y cierres con los ponentes británicos y españoles. Ahora es necesario agregar una en español y será perfecto. Basically, he said that he loves the new introductions that we have, and the little Spanish and British tidbits. And he would love. He says it's necessary to add a Spanish bumper, and then it'll be perfect.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, we talked about this for sure. We got the little bilingual thing going on, and it's working. We're able to switch the gears. Stan, do not go spending money.
Yes, I hear you.
Mm-hmm. I sure can find one of my Latina.
Out the other, baby.
I have plenty of Latina friends. I'm sure I can get someone to do a bumper. Normie, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Ooh,
Don't
that would
forget.
be nice.
Yeah, she's got that smoky, sultry voice going on.
She does. She does. She's also got those blue eyes.
Yes, indeed, it works. But yeah, what do you have to say about that comment? Besides, you like the idea?
De nada.
See, I was setting you up. I had to set you up. And by the way, fun fact: de nada literally translates to "from nothing."
That's interesting. You know, in Romanian they have the same word, pentru nimic.
Look at that. All right, so we have a little issue with the all game stream. While I get it sorted out, Stan, you're gonna go ahead and share our who's who and explain what Doctor Who is and why we should be excited about it. Why we are excited about it. Why we want everybody to be excited about it. Sound good?
Okay. Yep, sounds good.
I'll be here. I'll be here, but I'm gonna try to figure something out.
All right. Doctor Who. What's Doctor Who? Who's who? Doctor Who's a sci-fi TV series that's been going on for 50 plus years. It's about a strange sort of man who travels all the time in space. Most of the time, he takes someone or some people along for the adventure. They're called companions. The Doctor, that's his name, has worn more than a few faces, but regardless of the face, the Doctor remains the same lovable and intelligent alien man traveling space and time in a blue box. What's that blue box? The blue box is the TARDIS. It's a spaceship, a time machine, and yes, it's bigger on the inside. So what's the big deal about Doctor Who? Well, Doctor Who may be one of the most enjoyable and intriguing mysteries of geek culture and science fiction. Doctor Who is also a British kids show, and yet it's captivated our collective geek imagination for years and years. And when the Doctor is good, really good, it captures our hopes for a better world. Still busy? So, when the story is fantastic, the Doctor can remind us of what's best about us. Maybe also what's worst. And as Yomar mentioned a few episodes ago, the Doctor reminds us to dream and perhaps dream bigger. One of the themes of the Doctor is that he's alone And that's why he needs companions. It's just as each of us sometimes feels alone. And the doctor shows us how to carry that existential burden. He's different, maybe like you or I. And yes, he's brilliant. Above all else, the doctor encourages us to face our fears, our own loneliness, and all the great challenges that come our way. He faces impossible odds and succeeds. I'm still here.
That's it? That's all you got?
I don't know. Oh, I was gonna. Well, I was gonna do Langston Hughes' poem "Dreams," since you mentioned dreams, and the doctor's somehow about dreams.
Yeah.
Langston Hughes. Okay.
It's here, bro. You're doing an awesome job. I'm just handling the back end stuff.
So Langston Hughes is an important 20th century Black American poet. Dreams by Langston Hughes. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow.
Yeah. I think I'm getting to read this poem together before.
We did, and that was in all games, but we kind of scrapped that recording.
Oh, that's when we did the test run last week.
Right, exactly.
Well, good callback because you know, I do want to remind everybody that we are live on all games and we are working out the kinks. So far, so good. So we are on allgames.com. That's where you can listen live. And as I mentioned earlier, we're on twitch.tv/Geeky Antics. So we are a live show. But then, you know, after the fact, you can catch us on our audio feeds, pretty much anywhere you get podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, all that good stuff, and YouTube. We have a lot of cool people on YouTube, and that's where those comments came from, by the way. But I feel like I'm forgetting something big. I do like that poem, by the way, because I even before you pointed out this poem. You know how I feel about dreams. I feel like people do not know how to dream big enough anymore. When we dream, they're not dreams that fill us with joy and put tears in our eyes. It's more like, you know, material things, very superficial kind of goals, but they're not real dreams. You know, they're wishes at best. But a dream is so much more. It takes us to a place, you know. Even though we're not really physically there, it takes us to places we want to be, and we get lost in that. And that drives us ultimately if we hold on, you know, to those dreams. So the imagery here definitely works for me. And then a broken-winged bird. You know how I feel about animal cruelty.
Yeah, I just that strikes the heart. Life is a broken-winged bird. If dreams die.
Oh, I can't take that kind of stuff, dude. Actually, this morning, Blue was limping around. She hurt her leg somehow, and I was very upset about it. But I had
Who's Blue?
Blue's my cat. That's right.
Yes. It's your rescue. You rescued Blue as a kitten.
Yes.
From a mailbox.
Yes. That's my baby. That's my best friend. I was very upset. I think I'm not sure if someone in my family got frustrated and I spanked her. You can't discipline cats the way you discipline dogs. And even with dogs, I'm a little bit against the corporal punishment stuff. Because that does more damage than it does good. There's ways, you know, like we talked about the spray bottles and stuff like that. Right. So yeah, I was a little sour this morning. But then I just thought about the show and joining you guys for tea time. And it cheered me up. But yeah.
That's good.
No tears now, that's right. No tears, only dreams. Happy thoughts. I am in a good place. I can't be sad with you guys around. So, and by the way, someone asked, well, you know, BFT actually asked, what does me gusta means? He's been holding that back the whole time. It means I like it. It's Spanish for I like it. That's why we repeat it a lot. Me gusta. So yeah, I just wanted to share that little intimate moment Because that poem does make me think about that, and I get a little choked up. I'm like, I promised myself I wouldn't cry. Okay, I'm good.
It's all right, man. You can cry. You're among friends.
Yeah, it's all good. It's gonna happen eventually, especially when we go really deep. But I want to keep the show moving along, so this won't be one of those moments. But yeah, when it comes to animals, I treat them like family, and I don't like people that are abusive to animals. You gotta be a pretty crappy kind of person to you know, to be abusive towards animals, and you can say, oh, they're just animals, and this says a lot about a person. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But by the way, you guys can leave us voicemail messages at 206-415-4987, or to be more sensitive, more aware of our international audience, it's 1-206 or 206-415-4987. That is.
You may have to dial 00.
Yeah.
For the 1.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we are U.S. based, so that's where you call. You leave us voicemail, and we'll play them during the show, as you will see in a bit. All right. Stan, why don't you share with our wonderful community what we have in store for today?
Okay. So the first half of the show, we're going to dive into Series 8, Episode 4, and the contemplation of fears. We'll talk about the doctor's Socratic method. We'll examine what he has to say about the things that bump in the dark, or the invisible things. We're going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about what I'm afraid of, and we're going to talk about what you're afraid of.
Yep.
And then, in the second half, we'll do a little bit more with Episode 4 recap, cover some themes in Series 8, read some more comments, play the voicemail, and then we'll get into the soft kitty awesomeness.
Indeed.
And then there's extras. Maybe. It's up to you.
Tiger Claw, shout out to Tiger Claw in all games. He's helping us do a little quality control. So this is the first time he's heard our show. For shame, TC. We've been plugging this for a long time. That's all right. It's all right. He's keeping up with a lot of podcasts. I know it's got to get tough for him. But he's saying, so are you drinking tea? And I'm like, no, I'm cheating right now. I'm having coffee. A good tea wouldn't be bad. I'm a big fan of vanilla chai latte, you know. I make it at home. It's pretty good. Put some allspice in there and maybe some cinnamon.
I have 2 favorite teas from the UK. My first is the Poor Man's Tea, PG Tips. And the second one is the 1%er tea, which is Harrods Earl Grey number 42.
Ooh. The number 42 makes it fancy.
Exactly. It's the meaning of life.
It's like Chanel number 5. Speaking of Chanel number 5, is Janelle number 5 still here? I don't know. Janelle, you should call and just say hello. We'll see if our bat signal gets out to her. She did love your voice earlier when we were testing and recording. This is very, yeah, man. You got a lot of fans, man. All right, so let's jump into the first half of everything officially. We're already. What did I say? We have I'm trying to do a time check here.
Started at 12:19.
No, we're about 23 minutes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need timers.
I don't like timers that much, just because it's like that pressure effect.
Right.
Like I've used them before, but then it's kind of like, oh, I gotta wrap it up. You know, if we go a little long, it's more like a guideline. If we go a little long, no problem. But you know, yeah, I don't like to go full-on timer. It's just it ruins the fun. I don't know. You can use a timer if you want. Just don't do like Obi does on Horse Play Some Time. Then he's sending me constant time reminders, because I'm usually really good about that. But I'll be in the middle of the fight. He's like, 3 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left, 2 minutes left. Except he does it much earlier on. Like I understand a 2-minute warning, but he's like 20-minute warning, 19-minute warning. I'm like, stop it! It's very distracting. knew you'd get a kick out of that, Stan. Nah, but
I'm not the only one that
trolls me.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I live with trolls 24/7.
Season 8, Series 8.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. I see how you. I see what you did there. All right, so be sure, by the way, to check out episodes 3 and 4 of TWTT on YouTube, and you can hear our general take on the 12th Doctor in Series 8 thus far. So just a quick recap. So far in Series 8, the Doctor has had an intimate conversation with the Lady T-Rex. He's thwarted a murderous plot of flesh-wearing cyborgs. He's toyed with the mind of a Dalek. He stopped an unintended robotic plot that would have wiped out half the world. And then he took a peek at the end of life. All life in the universe. Now, that is deep. There's a lot of stuff has happened in just 4 episodes. And then episode 5 is tonight, which is why we do the early show. Because we want to warm you up for the Doctor Who. So the Saturday is Who Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also Catter Day. So we got to find a way to, like... yeah, that's the thing. So we got to combine the two somehow. Like, little cats wearing Doctor Who outfits. Dude. Is that a thing? I wonder. There's going to be a lot of social media searching going on after the show. Just gonna put
Did
that
you
out
get
there.
the picture with the kitten and the bow tie?
I did put that up there. Bow ties are cool. A little Matt Smith love there. Bow ties are cool. If you could rock them, definitely. Very distinguished. But anyway, what I find most interesting about the last bit there is that he went to the end of the world. Spoiler, the end of the universe. That happened in episode 4, Silence, which we're going to talk about. But what's interesting to me there is that the TARDIS usually has safeguards to prevent travel to the end of the universe. And they've mentioned this many times. There's certain places he can't go, certain places he shouldn't go. Like you're not supposed to go to the place where you die or whatever. But he broke that.
Not supposed to go to Galway either.
Exactly. So the 12th Doctor actually makes mention of this in episode 4 by saying something to the effect of, "Oh, some idiot removed these safeguards." And I'm like, wait, wasn't that idiot him? So it just goes back to where we've been talking about. Is he really so out of place in his own skin that he's referring to himself in the third person? Or his past selves as different people? You know, or maybe the Doctor isn't who we think he is. You know, let's put that in our back pockets for now, because that could open up a whole can of worms there.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything I forgot to mention with that little recap?
Yeah. You forgot to mention that Clara has Tiger, Daniel Pink's son, out of wedlock, raises Tiger Pink as a single mother and stripper extraordinaire. Then Tiger goes on to be a 7-time PGA champion, and eventually his grandson, Orson Pink, goes on an experimental time mission that shipwrecks Orson at a place and time where there is no more life in the universe.
So you have to get more specific there.
That was a magical spoiler there.
Yeah, I don't remember all of that being in the season so far. That's a pretty sassy recap. That's all I gotta say. I think you might be exaggerating things a smidge, Stan. Just a smidge.
Just a little.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I may have blinked. Don't blink. Yeah, we did not script that at all. But this is a lot of natural callbacks to Doctor Who here. It's gonna be one of those days. Awesome. I'm excited. But yeah. Oh, by the way, time travel runs in the Pink family. Did you notice they threw that out there? And I feel like just as they threw that out, I'm like, ooh, that's supposed to be an aha moment. Like, aha! And then they did not really do much with the tidbit. It was just a tidbit.
Yeah.
You're killing me,
like the Pinks were a tidbit.
You think they're done with the Pinks?
So, because they don't add anything to the story.
You want Muppet to be done with the Pinks.
I think he was before he started.
Oh, let's not start it. Come on. Keep it positive, Stan. Stop it. Behave. Stan as a writer who's more in the trenches than I am at that with that side of things, he gets offended when there's lazy writing. I don't blame you, bro. But give him a break.
He's too busy with Sherlock. Fine.
Oh. I still think if Muppet focuses a little bit more, okay, let's call him what he really is. Stephen Moffat. If he focuses a little bit more on the creative direction and less on the writing, one or the other, but he can't do everything at once. He has to he needs to switch gears and have someone else pick up the slack here and there.
That's what an executive director is for, or executive producer. You know, make the script better.
Yeah, but isn't he that and a lead writer as well? Isn't that the problem?
Yeah, maybe he's overpaid.
Yeah, so you know, it's hard to fine tune and objectively, you know, improve your own work because you're not you're not approaching it fresh. You need another set of eyes at least.
Exactly.
But we'll see. I mean, you know, we talked about this before. Series 3 that we got to rewatch quite a bit of together during our fun little business / bro fest.
Yes, it was awesome.
You know, we got a lot of stuff done, but we also got to geek out quite a bit. And, you know, it's just funny when you go back to the older Moffat stuff. There was some really quality stuff there.
Exactly.
And it's like, what happened? Not to say Series 8 has been terrible, but you can see it's different.
Well, here's the thing. Moffat's throwing out all these really big ideas at us, but the stories aren't working.
Mm.
Isn't that weird?
It's a hard pill to swallow, I think. There's too much change going on at once. I think that might be the big issue.
Yeah.
So would you say, like, perhaps part of it is, and I thought about this quite a bit. I've actually been reflecting on this because I went back and listened to some of the stuff we've said in previous shows, and just watched some of the older episodes. And I'm like, is it just us like being aversive to change? I mean, fear of change is a common thing with us humans. So it's hard to see so many things being thrown into flux. There's almost no familiarity right now.
Our biggest problem is the Doctor. So, okay, fine. It's a regeneration. He's got some memory loss. He has some confusion. But what is there about him that stands out? What is it that we can admire? And the answer is nothing. and so theoretically, this is not Capaldi's fault, because Capaldi is, by many accounts, a accomplished and serious actor. He can do this. So what's holding him back? And we can only imagine that it's the script. The script is not capturing him. And if you think about it, if you had I don't know, I was thinking about this. If Matt Smith were in these last 4 episodes, it would have been fine for me. All of them. I wouldn't have been digging deeper as I have been. But Matt Smith is not there. Okay,
except that if it was a Matt Smith episode, they'd have to get fresh new screwdrivers. Because apparently Peter Capaldi has demanded that all the sonic screwdrivers, all the props, be crazy glued or super glued to some super glue, not necessarily crazy glue specifically. He doesn't like the whole flinging open these sonic screwdrivers. He thinks it's too flashy. This is a thing. So
like movable parts.
Apparently, it's not classy. So it's funny,
Or it speaks to how he can't get it up. But
well,
Oh, did I say that? No, get his attitude up. That's what I meant.
Speculation aside, and geriatric jokes aside, I have noticed that there's not that much use of the sonic screwdriver And when it does show up, it's in the default stance. It doesn't have the flipping going on. I don't know. There might be something there. I might be reaching, but I think Peter Capaldi is trying to get really involved with the way things are going to unfold. And I feel like he doesn't want to have cheap resolutions or easy answers. And that's very cool. That's noble, but you need to have some kind of tools, literally, in your proverbial toolbox. I don't know. But
is Peter Capaldi's idea of science fiction where science fiction is today, or is he back 30 years ago?
That's a whole other discussion. So episode 4, Silence, of series 8, begins with the Doctor exploring the possibility of creatures unseen with all the theater of a mathematician, scientist, and philosopher. And, you know, whether you think the theater was good or not.
Oh, I like the theater.
I thought it was good, too. Some people did not.
It had to go somewhere, that's all.
Right. And there is a bit of an issue with these kind of monologues. He does almost these asides where it's almost as if the rest of the cast does not exist for a brief moment, and he speaks directly to the audience. Is that immersive, or is it breaking the fourth wall? Like, there's been a few times when he's looked directly at the camera and he's like talking to us directly, and
it's called begging for love.
So, in a classical demonstration of Socratic method, the Doctor pursues a wibbly-wobbly dance of logic that seems to point at the weeping angels, but the problem is that weeping angels can be seen. Sam, why don't you read the monologue, the opening monologue for us?
Okay. This is a great example of Socratic method. Question: why is there no such thing as perfect hiding? Answer: how would you know? Logically, if evolution were to perfect a creature whose primary skill were to hide from view, how could you know it existed? It could be with us every second, and we would never know. How would you detect it, even sense it, except for those moments for no clear reason? You choose to speak aloud. What would such a creature want? What would it do? Well, what would you do?
What would you do? What would I do? I don't know. Is he asking the audience that?
I don't know. Is he asking us what would we do if we were that creature, and why are we doing it?
Yeah.
That's the hard thing to... It wasn't clear.
I think they're trying purposely to be very open-ended and ambiguous, perhaps, to make us create our own answers. They're throwing smoke screens, and if, dare I say, if this theory, not so much a theory, it's more of a hypothesis, or if this speculative statement about the Doctor possibly being the master in disguise has any weight to it, then all this could be
a good man. I forget what episode where he lost memory of himself and he tried to save people at the end of time.
Yep, and then he went back to being a jerk. So it's been done before, but then again, a lot of the storylines have been recycled anyway.
Exactly.
Now, the Socratic method is neat. It's very logical. It has its flaws, though, because it's kind of the whole thing is proving your point by disproving the counterpoints, right? So if you could disprove the counterpoints, then your point is obviously the best one or the correct one. And that's kind of the nature of it. There's some flaws in that, though, but it's a nice process, and I like that they went through that. They took it there because it's in line with some of the other stuff they've been doing in this season. They're going really deep, but like you said, they're not really following up with it.
Yeah, so they kind of they keep stopping short.
Yeah,
but that's okay because Timey-Wimey is here. And we're here to take it further.
Timey-Wimey, Wibbly Wobbly, fixes everything. Yay!
Exactly.
Tiger Club, real quick. He asked, "What's up with the sonic screwdriver? What's so special about it?" It's special because it's the ultimate narrative device. You write yourself into a hole and then it bails you out, or it bails your character out.
But it's not supposed to.
It's not supposed to. And they kind of retroactively say that it's an upgraded sonic screwdriver with additional functionality and whatnot. Right. But what do you feel about it?
Just unlock doors.
Yeah.
So
or reprogram.
Yeah, reprogram computers.
But now it could like well, you could say
explode a target.
Acceleration of particles causes heat, you know, and because heat is energy, and then it's a bit of a stretch, but sure. But anyway, we won't get into that. That's something that we'll always come back to. This is a sonic screwdriver. You can't get rid of it, but you still have to laugh at it every now and then. It's the Batman utility belt. Adam West style, yo. Everything is there.
Because he can't have a gun.
Because he can't. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Claire took it away.
Yeah, and again, we haven't seen a sonic screwdriver much, and it was confiscated in Robot of Sherwood, episode 3. And since then, I don't recall him whipping it out. I must have missed that. I don't know. Again, I might be digging deep. But anyway, in the doctor's explanation of the philosophy of natural... Actually, I'm sorry. I'm reading my own show notes incorrectly. So, Thomas Aquinas. He's an Italian monk, theologian, and a fan of Aristotle, right? He did his stuff. He did his little groovy stuff. He has an explanation of the philosophy of natural law. That's what he's known for. It's his shtick. He said there's 4 precepts which direct the living thing. Number 1 is every living thing seeks its own good according to its nature. Every living thing seeks to preserve its own life. So survival instinct. The doctor did talk about that in episode Silence. Every living thing seeks to reproduce or further extend its life. You know, kind of extending your legacy, your bloodline. And every living thing seeks to know and benefit by its knowledge. So therefore we can follow the doctor's question with a better question. What does it serve a living thing to be perfectly hidden? Is it really useful? Does it really improve its survival, its chances of survival? In nature, hiding is used as an instrument of defense and aggression. Camouflaging colors of the chameleon, for example, hide it from detection by the predators that would otherwise eat it. And then it also helps it be a better predator itself. The chameleon gets insects that are completely unsuspecting. So, it's a dual purpose there.
See, we just went deeper than the doctor. Oh, yeah.
He started to go there, and then he was like, I'm just going to tease you for now. But in the case of the doctor's hypothetical creature, which he wants us to believe exists or doesn't exist, I don't know. Does it hide for the purpose of defense, aggression, or both? It's not clear to him. It's not clear to us as the audience. Again, very ambiguous to kind of get us thinking, I believe. But, what do you guys think? Tell us your thoughts in the chat here and now, or later in YouTube, or on our recap post, which we do on geekyantics.net. Leave us some comments. Or you could call it in. We're giving you options. Again, 1-206-415-4987. If you're outside of the U.S., you might have to put in 00 or some other kind of extension or whatever. 1-206-415-4987. Now, Stan, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Okay. See, at the end of the episode, we think we've discovered that all of this madness, mad science thinking, is about the doctor's fear of the dark. But such conclusion is not merited by the logical proceedings of the doctor and how he began his query. Something has been suggested here, that something or somethings do move in the dark, slip away at our direct gaze, and slither from our dead corpses. It suggested that they're more real than fear. So there's kind of a leap from the monsters in the dark and to fear. I'm reminded of what Kint said in The Usual Suspects. The greatest trick the devil was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Mm.
You remember that?
Well, and that's a line that's been used many times in different places.
Yes.
Because that is that holds true in so many things. You know, people in denial of problems that they have, people in denial of the fact that they're demonized or tormented somehow. It's some deep stuff there, man. That's some heavy stuff. But let's talk a little bit about fears. Now we got about 12 minutes in this first half or so. Let me make sure. Yeah, we got about 14 minutes or so in this first half. Well, you know, we might go a little longer. And you know, we're not gonna formally have an hour each half. It's just not gonna happen. Not without cutting ideas short.
Right.
And especially with the copious notes that Stan infuses upon, on top of what I already put in here. So we're both verbose, and we just like merge our parts together, and we become like a very crackhead Voltron. And Voltron is awesome, so yay!
Fear us.
And if you don't get that reference, I'm sorry, but Voltron is epic. The lion Voltron, not the car one. The car one I didn't like too much. Dan, no comment on that? Okay. Moving on. I like robots. I'm sorry. I'm a guy.
Nothing wrong with old robots.
So Stan, why don't you tell us? We're gonna do some real talk here. Step away a little bit from the talk of Doctor Who. We'll talk about fears. We hope this encourages everybody to open up and share with us. That's kind of the whole idea about tea time. Is just, you know, just relaxing, letting your inhibitions go, and just, you know, making friends and connecting on a deeper level. So Stan, tell us some of your greatest fears.
Okay. Before I do that, I just want to say that, you know, as we're watching Doctor Who, we have to take something away from it. And, you know, we can't just take away trivial questions and answers to Doctor Who. We've got to actually take away something for ourselves. And that's why we're going deep into fears in this episode, because, you know, the last episode, Silence, was about fears, and if you can't think about your own fears, then you got nothing out of it, you know. So what am I afraid of? Wow, this is live in public.
Don't say me. Don't troll me.
You scare me, man. You scare me so bad. No, I'm joking. Yomar's a lovable bear. So, I'm afraid of the dark. I really am, just like the Doctor. I'm afraid of failing the test. I don't know if we'll have time to get into that. And I'm afraid of never knowing the fullness of love. In other words, I'm afraid of rejection. And they're not just simple fears, but they also come to me in nightmares, just like the Doctor's fear came to him in a nightmare. It's the kind of nightmares from which you awake from, and you feel as if somehow the universe was broken just a little bit when you were asleep. So let me tell you about my fear of the dark. I've been afraid of the dark since forever. Maybe it's because I have a powerful imagination. Maybe it's because there's things that come around at night or that wait in the darkness. Things that have a presence, if not a body. But they tend not to reveal their presence when there's two or more people around. I have no idea why that is, but maybe they just don't like witnesses. As a child, I didn't have the luxury to completely avoid the darkness. I was often put to errands that made me go into the darkness, fetch a load of firewood from outside, take out the trash, whatever. But I remember so many bedtimes when I hid under the blanket. I'm sure some of you out there know that.
Oh yeah, I always had that I remember as a kid, I always used to see silhouettes in the darkness, and it felt like everything was moving very slightly or staring at me, and yeah, it's tricky for me to really name those fears, but I would say darkness is one of them. But it's not just the darkness by itself. To me, it's kind of like what comes with the darkness. Silence, loneliness. Unease. It's just that they kind of come all together, and that's what makes the darkness so. It's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of things you cannot control. The fear of getting a surprise of the variety that you do not like. This so much entangled in that. I think everybody, if they're really honest with themselves, they have to admit that they have some extent, some degree of fear of the darkness. If you don't, I don't think you're bleeding. I don't think you have a heart or working hard. I just don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with you.
Well, if we can see something, we can know it, and if we can know it, maybe we can do something about it. If you can't see it, you can't know it, and then it's just there in the darkness.
Yeah, and if you can't recognize something, how do you deal with it? Like you said, how do you own it?
Right.
And owning is just recognizing, but then how do you actually deal with it? And and there goes my dog being a crackhead. But that's we rely so much on our senses, so when part of that sensory feedback is stripped from us and we're crippled, it's scary, and it helps you appreciate folks that are blind from birth or early on in their life. Like, how did they adapt? The world's gotta be a scary place to them, but you wouldn't know it from seeing a lot of these folks, like Robert Kingett. He's
right.
Happy-go-lucky guy, super positive. Heck, he's more aggressive and like outgoing than a lot of people I know. You would not know that he has that, the blindness, and he certainly doesn't fear the darkness. He's embraced it.
Right.
Something beautiful in that.
It is. So, okay, back to my fear of darkness. As I became a young adult, I often told myself that since nothing bad had ever happened to me, besides being afraid, it must just all be in my imagination. And later in college, I actually was doing some night watch work as a security guard, and I had to face my fears every night. It was kind of intense.
Oof.
On one assignment, I felt like I was always being watched, but, I just kept telling myself that it's my imagination. But the kicker is that actually, after a couple of weeks, they discovered that there was actually a psychopath that was secretly living in the attic of that model home that was our security base for the neighborhood. So my spider senses were right. That did not help me.
Man.
But I had... Yes, that is weird. I mean, in the attic, I almost can't describe it because it was, he had covered all the walls with feces and blood.
Oh my gosh.
So we're talking serious, but he was as quiet as a mouse. I never heard him.
Dude, that's hardcore. Oh, hello, people in the background.
Exactly. Those are the guys putting in my furnace and AC unit.
Woohoo!
Yeah. But here's one thing, and this is what the doctor kind of made me think about, because, I'm now at least halfway point or more of my life, and I've recently come to understand that this spider sense, this feeling of things in the darkness, is not imagination necessarily. It doesn't have to be imagination. It can be a spiritual gift, the power to discern spirits. And this is actually something that's described in ancient literature and even the Bible. So after all these years, the psychobabble is nothing more than lies and cheap platitudes. Lies that confuse me about who I am and what's going on. Because, in fact, there are things in the dark. And the darkness can be a very dangerous place, but not necessarily dangerous as a physical imminent threat like the psychopath or sociopath waiting with a machete just around the corner. More terrible, maybe, than most things in the dark are the things in us.
Very true.
So what are you afraid of, man?
I'm trying not to cop on and say those things as well, but I can relate to all of that.
Right,
but
right.
I will give two unique ones to add to that. One, I would say, and again, I've toiled with this quite a bit, but I finally feel like one of the biggest ones is emptiness. It's kind of similar to darkness.
Yes.
But the emptiness, so if you ever had a moment when you just feel empty inside, you just stop and it's like everything around you freezes. You feel like, what is my purpose really? And I'm on the grind on this job. Yeah, I'm making money, I'm paying bills, but what is this really? And it's like life becomes surreal for a moment, and it's like suddenly any gratitude or appreciation you have for the things going on in your life disappears. Any enlightenment you had disappears, and it's just emptiness, and you just feel you feel disconnected. You lose that sense of purpose, that sense of contentment, and with that emptiness, the darkness creeps into your soul. So I guess emptiness that allows for the bad kind of things to come into you. Like all of a sudden you know, when those moments happen, you don't keep yourself busy, you don't meditate, you don't pray. Whatever you do to just remind yourself of what your purpose is, your why, what drives you, what makes you keep reaching higher and further, right? When you stop doing that and you just let the negativity, the darkness creep in, that's a scary place to be, because then it's like you might remember things from many, many years ago that you thought were resolved, and all of a sudden they come back into your consciousness, and you're tormented by that, and then you linger on it, and that's the worst place to be. So that's something I try to avoid, you know, and I just try to fill my mind with positive thoughts and be thankful.
You just swallowed hard, dude.
What's that?
Just swallowed hard. Tell us more.
Yeah. Oh, you heard that?
I heard that, man. I heard your throat move.
My mic is OP, man. Yeah, that's it's just that feeling, kind of like the doctor said, with the hairs in the back of your neck, you know, standing up and your skin crawling. You know, when there's sometimes that's the same kind of feeling when the emptiness creeps in, where you just, I don't know, it's just an unease, and you almost feel like you're leaving your body and looking at yourself with disgust, and that's scary stuff. In a similar manner, I'm not, you know me, I'm a rebel, Stan. And I always say I don't care what people think about me, but at the same time I'm tactful, I'm courteous, I'm compassionate, because I don't want to be.
You do care.
Huh?
You do care what other people think.
No, I do. Like, I honestly do it. Like, I thought about this. Trust me. Like, I thought about it because I just don't want to be part of the problems in the world. And I see how other people treat me, and how had treated me in the past. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be better. Like, I'm not saying, you know, I'm perfect, you know, or always a good guy. No one is. But I try. I make a deliberate effort, a conscious decision to do that. You know, but even though I don't look for that affirmation or that approval from people, acceptance from people, there is one thing that really does get to me, and I have to own this fear. My biggest fear would probably be having everybody that I care about completely misunderstand me at the same time. I don't know why, but that gets me so bad. Like if you get accused for a crime or something, you know, some wrongdoing, some offense that you know you didn't do or didn't intentionally try to do, but someone swears they know what's in your head and what your true intentions are, and they're spreading the lies, and it's like, no, that's not me. It's totally not what I was trying to go for. And it's like, that's another thing I'm always fearful of. And it's a big fear because, like, when I love people, there's no like in between for me. If I let someone in, it's, you know, you're in deep, and then it's hard to put my thick skin up. It's like I let the shields down. It's like, please, here's my heart. Do not step on it. Thank you. Have a good day. Yeah. You know, and I'm kind of that guy. That, you know, otherwise, if people say stuff, it's like, whatever. You're like, I haven't let you in, so I let it roll off of me. But once you're in my heart like that, it's just, it's not so much that I seek the approval, but I want you to understand that I have your best, you know, I have the best intentions for you, and I have well wishes and goodwill towards people that I love. Just everybody in general, but especially the few people that I let into my inner circle. Because, you know, I'm one of those people that I might call a lot of people friends, but when I really stop saying about it, I say, this is a true friend. Those are very few people that I could probably count them on one hand, you know. The people that I know that I could count on any time and can trust fully, and I know they get me and won't, you know, take my words out of context, or they always will give me the benefit of the doubt. There we go. That's important to me. Because I like to afford people the same thing. So, you know, if you think about it in terms of nightmares, like if I have a nightmare where it's like I'm doing all this good and then everybody's unsatisfied with what I'm doing, or they think there's some hidden agenda. Oh, sure, you just saved the school bus that was about to crash and go over the cliff. Yeah, but you probably just want to be in the newspaper. Oh, sure, you found a cure for cancer. Yeah, you probably just want to, you know, get laid by that hot chick that happens to have cancer. Like, what? You know, like people just have.
Yeah, but those people are just they're not really speaking to you. They're speaking to themselves, and they're making excuses for why they don't do the right thing.
That is very true. And a lot of times when people, you know, kind of crucify us or try to find darkness in our goodness, they're reflecting. There's a psychological term for that. I think it's called projection. When someone projects their inner demons onto you. So it's kind of like when your companion says, "You're cheating on me, aren't you?" And they're really the one that's cheating, but they accuse you of something so that you're so busy being consumed by your guilt, you know, and that you completely do not see that they're the ones doing that very thing that they supposedly hate. You know, it's really jacked up, and that happens all the time. And let's look at the chat real quick here. All right, so we're making good time. We're about to enter the second half, but real quick, we have some talk here. All right, so King Deem says it's not the darkness; it's what lives there. And he says,
all right, Nick.
Yeah, he's going deep too. He says you were being watched by your spirit guides. There you go. And BFT 9000 says he's afraid of wasps. Little bastard's got nothing better to do than sting everything in sight. Ooh, you probably don't want to come out to Georgia because we got the paper wasps, and they're pretty scary looking, but they're so.
Oh, we got them too.
Yeah. They're quite spread out all over the place. Do you have like the really big, like brownish ones?
I don't know. They're bigger than a bee. But you know, the weird thing is, I had 3 nests last year.
They're like grayish, right?
Yeah.
And they look like they're made out of paper mache.
Exactly. And everyone said you got to destroy them. You got to kill them with pesticide. And I was like, okay, we'll see. So I left them there, and one of them was like directly over the entrance to the backyard. Ooh. And they never bothered me, and they never bothered anyone. So I don't know. It's kind of maybe I was lucky, or we were lucky. Maybe if you don't bother them, it's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, supposedly they're very protective of their nest area. Like they don't like even being in close proximity. And if you even get the scent of, if you have the scent of another wasp or the scent of you touch their nest, they will come after you. But you know, Maybe we just have that aura to us, because I've had wasps fly around me and they didn't do anything, and I was surprised, but I was still kind of freaked out, like, oh gosh, your stinger looks very scary. And it's not like bees, where they sting you once and then die. It's repeated stings. Yes. It's scary. Another fun fact is that wasp actually, the term wasp refers to a whole family of insects. So like it's a very generic term. Like a wasp can refer to a hornet or a specific type of bee. Like I was doing research on it, I was like, wow, like there's a whole world of like bugs and insects and arthropods and other critters that we are not completely aware of unless we're into that kind of thing. It's fascinating to me. Nature's OP, man. Stan doesn't care. So anyway, moving on, I'm gonna play some little bumper here for you guys, and we'll officially enter our second half, where we'll talk about episode 4, Silence. We'll do a little commentary, recap, delve a little deeper into the whole notion of fear, and some other some assorted flavors of goodness, of geeky goodness there. Here we go.
You're listening to the Timey-Wimey Tea Time Podcast, a geekyantics.net production where lovely and amazing people talk and ponder anything and everything about Doctor Who, science fiction, fantasy, zombies, the end of the world, creativity, writing, and, oh heck yes, anything else that geeks speak, question and think.